All right. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Great. Kubota is my first time drinking Kubota in a long time.
It's got a little bit of a bite.
This is
Like went down smooth and
at the end, yeah. Well, you know, a lot of Japanese people like that. Kubota is seen as like one of the really high class Japanese sakes.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's from Niigata, so I should like it. I'm not a huge fan, but I saw it. I thought we'll just go a little fancy today.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like everyone says that Niigata has like the best sake, but I would say Niigata has the best like traditional sake, or like sake that tastes like sake.
Yeah.
But if you like stuff that's a little bit more unique, you have to go someplace else.
Sure.
But sorry, if you guys like Kubota, I'm sorry, but this is Niigata, and my wife's from Niigata, so I don't have to be super positive about it. So Austin, what are we talking about today?
I already forgot. What are we
We're talking about Tokyo and Osaka and how foreigners think of Osaka and Tokyo.
So this is an interesting topic because we've recently had some conversations just about like you know, kind of what people are like in Osaka versus what people are like in Tokyo. And I think we've actually kind of touched on this topic in the past.
Yeah.
But I want to change the perspective and kind of just comment on why you chose this place and like why you're still staying here, and that from that kind of perspective. And like especially for me, like growing up as a kid, well, I mean, I didn't really have any plans to move to Japan until I was a teenager, but when I first came to Japan, we spent my first trip was like 3 weeks, and we spent 1 week in Tokyo just kind of going around like Akihabara, like those places, right? And then the rest was spent in like Kansai. Yeah. So I stayed with my host parents in Hyogo Prefecture, which was they live like super close to Kobe, but every time we went out somewhere, it was to Osaka. Okay. We always went to Osaka, right? And so I developed like a really fond like desire to move to Osaka. Yeah. And I think it's kind of interesting because everyone I talk to, both Japanese and foreigner, they always agree that Osaka people seem to get along with foreigners more than any other place in Japan. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
No, I agree with you. So for me too, the first place I ever went to in Japan was Tondabayashi in Osaka, which is like a really small town on the outside. It's on the Nankai line. But so for me, when I first went to Japan, my image of Japanese people were people from Osaka.
Mine too. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. And then when I went to school in Seattle, we had a lot of ryugakusei, a lot of study abroad students from Tokyo. And when I met all these students, I was thinking, why is everyone like a robot? Like, are these real people? Like, what's like, this school just have a bunch of weirdos? Yeah. And I was like, no, it's just different. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that because I kind of had a similar experience, except we would get Japanese students from specifically Osaka and Fukuoka.
Fukuoka, okay.
Which I would say, like, generally speaking, Kyushu is like closer to Kansai culture than Kanto culture. For sure. Which, I mean, geographically, it makes sense, right? But so like every single time like I interacted with a Japanese person when I was young, it was Kansai. Yeah. Right? And then I never really interacted with anybody from Tokyo until I moved here. Yeah. And I was like, dude, people here are cold.
So different. Yeah.
They're so cold and careless, or not careless, but like it seems like nobody cares about anybody, but like it was such like a culture shock for me because I thought I knew Japan. Yeah. And it turns out it didn't.
It'd be really great for you to talk about this topic after you've been to New York City. You've been to Manhattan. Yeah. Because you get that vibe.
Is it the same in New York?
Yeah, because in New York, so Boston, you know, people from the Northeast are known for being rude. You know, we've talked about this on the show that Boston, people from Boston, Massachusetts are called massholes because we're known as to be so rude.
That's so good.
But New York takes it to like another level. Yeah. Like, who are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? Like, it's just crazy. Like, I mean, there's a reason why Taxi Driver took place in New York, you know? Yeah. But But yeah, it was, but you know, it's funny because like you said, a lot of foreigners tend to get along with people from Osaka more. And actually I find the people that I naturally become friends with, the Japanese people that I naturally become friends with tend to be either from Osaka or Fukuoka or sometimes from like Aichi, Nagoya, but like most of it's from Osaka or Fukuoka. And because people are more chill, I would say. They're more like humanistic, you know, not as robotic. But to be honest, you asked me like, would I want to move to Osaka or why am I still in Tokyo? To be honest, now that I'm here, I kind of like the culture here more.
Yeah. And you know what? The weird thing is I feel the same way.
Oh, really? Okay. I wasn't expecting you to agree with me.
Yeah. No, so that's the thing where I feel like I've kind of like betrayed myself. No, I really feel like this though. Yeah. I feel like I've kind of betrayed myself because I hyped up Osaka so much.
Yeah.
And every time I go to Osaka or I go to Hyogo or I go to Kobe, I love it.
Yeah,
I'm super happy there. The people are always really friendly. I always have a great time, but I'm here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So why don't you move over there?
Something that I was really surprised about, and I actually didn't even know this about myself until I moved here, was I love the privacy that you get here in Tokyo.
Okay.
Like when I first moved here, I really felt like people were really cold and distant, and they didn't seem to like really care to get to know you.
Yeah.
And part of that is true, but I think it's just because like people's lives here in Tokyo are just so busy that you just don't have time to really like sit down and spend a lot of time with people. But I really grew to like that. It's like I like that. Like something, I'll give you a thing to contrast, right? You know, back when I was, you know, in the US, like with dating someone or being friends with somebody, they would always want to do something. Hey, what are you doing this weekend? What are you doing this weekend? When I came to Japan, no one ever sent me that message. Right? No one ever sent me the message. What are you doing this weekend?
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not an antisocial person, but it just becomes so bothersome when you just get hit up all the time. Like, what are you doing this weekend? It's like, I mean, I guess I'm doing something with you now from what it sounds like.
Yeah. What are you doing this weekend means let's hang out this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
And so it's nice that like here in Tokyo, this is not just with Japanese people. This is with my foreign friends too. But you schedule your like play dates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Play dates. What are you, 5?
No, but we kind of all just still have play dates, right?
Yeah. Okay.
You schedule your time.
Yeah.
Right. And something that I think is kind of something that maybe some people don't really think about is like that in a way that's kind of like showing respect for the other person's time.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah, you know, it's funny that you talk about how everyone is kind of private and no one talks to each other. You know, I feel like, you know, because Tokyo has such a high population density and a lot of people, you know, in their apartments, they can hear their neighbors very clearly. Yeah. You know, because the walls are so thin in their apartments.
Not me, I live in a concrete bunker.
It's great. Yes, you do. But yeah, so a lot of people, they feel so... Oh, so you don't live in Tokyo. You live in Kanagawa. Yeah. But yeah, so there's like no privacy and everyone is so close together that you kind of have to put up these walls to kind of keep your own space because there is no space, you know?
Yeah.
And when I understand, you know, I honestly, I feel that way too. Like so when I was a college student, I loved talking with people. Like I would talk to people and they would talk to me. And now when someone talks to me outside, if they're like a fan or something, I'm like, oh, thank you. That's so nice. But if it's like a random person, I'm just thinking in my mind, I just want to close my eyes and not have to think about anything. Why are you talking to me? Please don't talk to me. Hi, you know, like that's how I am, you know. I get it.
Yeah.
But also like so I feel like Osaka is a more natural city, I would say.
I think that's a really good way to put it.
Yeah. It's it was funny because one of my friends from Tokyo, he grew up in Meguro, but he spent a long stint Kyushu actually on an island fishing. Like, so he really loves nature and stuff, and he doesn't like being in Meguro too much because he likes nature so much. But he was telling me that, you know, Osaka is more like an Asian city, whereas like Japan is like Tokyo is like a Japanese kind of made environment, you know,
like an artificial
environment. Yeah, right. And so, but for me, you know, and we've talked about this on other episodes, but you know, a lot of foreigners, when they come to Japan, they're lonely, they don't know how to make friends very well, and so those barriers in Tokyo feel really cold, and they like Osaka because it's easier to connect with people. But for me, like, I don't know, maybe because I'm married and I have a family now and I have friends, like I don't need that stuff, and I appreciate the distance and the separation from everyone, that I can just like move around easily. You know?
Yeah, it's so weird. I think another main reason why, like, if you look at the demographics of like where foreigners live in Japan, obviously you can encounter people living everywhere, right? But by far the largest population of foreign residents in Japan is Tokyo. Yeah, right. Like, there's no question about it. It's like not even close. Right. And you might ask yourself, like, why is that? Because Osaka and to an extent Kobe they're just much more foreign friendly cities. Like, especially if you go to Kobe, Kobe almost doesn't even look like a Japanese city. Yeah. It looks like a place in America or Europe.
Well, Kobe and Yokohama were two of the first places opened in the 1850s, you know? So they got a lot of that influence.
Yeah, and Kobe's architecture is very, personally, I would say it's very American. Yeah. But I think you could probably say it's European, because American just follows European. Yeah. But yeah, so it's like you would think like, okay, well, why wouldn't someone want to come here? And pretty much what it boils down to is the job availability for foreigners. Like the pipeline to like getting into Japan and living here, it's like English teacher or company worker.
Yeah, just to double check. Right? So you had some friends who started out in Tokyo and now they live somewhere else? Because I remember, like, at your wedding, a guy came and he moved. He moved
so
out.
He lives in Kyoto now.
He's in Kyoto now. Okay.
Yeah.
And where was he before?
He was here in Tokyo.
Okay.
Hey guys, we're interrupting this awesome podcast with the two of us to tell you about a really special thing. It's called the Austin and Arthur Friends.
In the Austin and Arthur Friends, you're going to get this video with English and Japanese subtitles. 日本語と英語の字幕両方ついている動画もゲットできるんですね。You can also get a PDF script so you can read along with it. You'll get the video, the long conversation in separate videos, so it's easier for you to watch as well. You'll also get access to a Kain Gente online community and also opportunities to talk directly with me and Austin.
Yeah, you know, because we're really fun to talk to.
Well, I am. Austin's really boring.
That's a lie. It's the opposite.
He's correct. I'm the boring one.
All right. Bye, guys.
See ya.
So from what I understand, he works for a Japanese company.
Okay.
And his wife, I think, is from Kyoto.
Okay.
And so basically, like, they moved there for comfort's sake.
Okay.
Yeah. And he just works out of the Kyoto office. Okay. So that worked out for him. But most foreign people, when they come here, they either, or one of two things, they're English teachers or they're company workers that are like either working for an international branch for a Japanese company or an international company at the Japanese branch, right? Yeah. They're one of those two options, right? Yeah. And the problem is, where is all the business in Japan? It's all Tokyo, especially international business, right? Where are the most schools in Japan? Tokyo, right? Yeah, there's schools everywhere in Japan, but if you look at like the sheer amount of schools there are here, it makes sense because most of Japan's population is around Kyoto, or around Tokyo. So it's, as a foreigner, I feel like it's kind of hard to actually get out of Tokyo once you're here, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny because so for a long time, you know, now my main business is I teach people how to make friends with foreigners and stuff. And before that, before COVID, a big part of our business was we would have people go to tourist spots and talk to tourists there.
Mm-hmm.
And 80% of my amazing students were from Osaka.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it almost made me think, oh, maybe I should move to Osaka because that's where my base is. But
yeah.
I don't know, man.
But I also feel it was a good decision you didn't, because do those people really need help making friends?
Nah, not really. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like in Osaka culture, it's such a natural thing for someone just to walk up to somebody they don't know and just strike up a conversation.
Yeah, people talk to me a lot more in Osaka than they do here.
Yeah, exactly, right? But like here in Tokyo, that just doesn't happen.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, so you have that too. So also another thing for me too is, my wife is from Niigata. It's a lot easier to get to Niigata from Tokyo than it is from Osaka.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
But was there but you haven't been to Fukuoka yet, right?
Technically, no.
Technically, no.
Yeah.
Because you just got in the airport and then you went.
Yeah, like when my wife was in labor, I missed my flight to Oita, so I had to book like a flight a couple hours later to Fukuoka and then ride the what was it, the Sonic train?
Yeah.
I think it's called
the Sonic train. Wow.
I think it's called the Sonic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just kind of like as a closing thing, so what kind of person do you think works better in Osaka, and what kind of person do you think works better in Tokyo?
I think if you're somebody,
as far as a foreigner goes.
Okay. So I think if you're the kind of person who is kind of a little bit of antisocial and you have a really strong desire to change that, Osaka is the perfect place.
Yeah.
Because I feel, I'm going to use this term, but I feel like it's just not going to fit and it's going to come out offensive. But I feel like Osaka's kind of like the training wheels for Japan as a foreigner.
I understand what you mean, and I agree with you. But you are right. That is a horrible way to say it.
But it is kind of like, in a lot of ways, it's kind of like a training wheels area, because people there are very friendly.
Yeah.
They're very open to discussion. It's really easy to make friends in Osaka.
Yeah.
And if you're the kind of person who's just not good at making friends, going to that place, it'll just boost your confidence up, because it's so easy to talk with people there.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you're somebody who's kind of like a little bit more confident with yourself, maybe you are a social person, I think Tokyo is a better option, because there's just so many more connection
and there's a lot more options here. Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah. I don't like the term train wheels. Can we say it's a nice introduction to Japan? It's a nice introduction to Japan.
No, but it is. It really is. Yeah. I don't want that to come off as a negative thing, because it's really great, because I think Japan does have kind of a reputation of being like, it's weird because like hospitality. Why is that so hard for me today? Hospitability. Hospitality is like such a world-renowned thing here in Japan, but also Japan also kind of has this stigma of being like really distant.
Yeah.
And I think Osaka is a really great way to break that stigma.
Yeah.
Like, what? Japanese people are cold? Nah, let's go to Osaka.
Yeah. I agree with you, man.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, well, that was good. That was a nice short conversation.
Yeah.
I still need to check with you what we're going to talk about next time, but I'll see you next time, man.
See ya.